The most important thing for a rebrand is building the strongest, most consistent look we can while making things that are shareable. They gotta be cool, man. They've gotta be different and noteworthy. That's what shareable's all about. I mean, if it's pedestrian and looks like everyone else, you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about something new, something exciting. We all know that Protandim is a nutrigenomic product. That's what Nerf2 activation is. So being able to tell that story visually on the front of the label was really important to us, specifically about making people's lives better today and using science and self-development in order to make that happen.
There were a couple of changes. Mostly it was just the label change that we made, but there were significant changes on the label. So we moved the word Protandim from a vertical to a horizontal.
For a couple of reasons. The first one is to create enough real estate at the bottom of that label to be able to see the pills inside and create the transparency. So the bottom third of that label allows you to actually see the product inside before you ever open it.
It also goes in hand with our manufacturing excellence, so you can see what you're getting is really what you're getting. It's not being replaced by something else. So more transparency to our consumer.
The second was to also create enough real estate for another visual element to tell the nutrigenomic story of the product. The double helix pattern there is a gentle visual nod to nutrigenomics. And then a nice little detail that we really like is the plus, which is also speaking to how we're basically making your genes work better. And that was a direct collaboration that came out of the focus group with our distributors, which I think is kind of fun.
With Protandim, that's our flagship product, and we know this is the only product available that can decrease cellular stress in 30 days by 40%. We have a lot of published studies on those. We want to enhance the design to follow that story.
So we start with our flagship product of making sure that Protandim is now reflecting that better story that we've been telling. And then this type of rebrand is going to eventually touch each one of our products. We want to help the individual in our community become better today. And one of the main ways we do that is science. So the new messaging on Axio is smart energy.
Meaning that it deals with increasing brain performance, increasing acuity, retention levels, all of those kinds of things.
So infusing that right into the basics of the Axio story was really important to us.
I've worked the Axio booth many a times at our elite academies and our conventions, and have heard conversations, have elicited conversations with our distributors. And what we really did was we took back all of that feedback and said, how could we do this better?
So the first thing we want to do is incorporate as many of the elements that we already had into the new design so that there was some familiarity. We needed something that is really shareable, and so we wanted to explore a package that was really different. At the same time, infusing in the elements that are going to be creating the visual glue in between our products, typography, pattern, our logo marks, and those things.
Once I got a chance to see the prototyped packaging for the new Axio boxes, they were plain white, nothing on them. I knew the vibrancy of the product, the character of the brand that we built over the last 18 months was going to coincide with this box perfectly.
So we used color to communicate the flavors. So we're still using the same colors on dragon fruit, and you can see that we use the same pattern on grapefruit. So there's never going to be any kind of confusion now, like what am I taking? Does this have caffeine or does this not have caffeine? These have caffeine, and the decaf is going to have far less caffeine.
All the formulas in Axio have stayed the same. We just updated the name, updated the look and feel. So you still get that sustainable energy from the Axio decaf and then your immediate energy from Axio.
And it's in the Axio logo. It's tied to the O in Axio, so it's easily identifiable.
One of our board members was actually working for Coke back in the day when Pepsi released their first caffeine-free product, which they called Pepsi Free. They actually beat Coke to the caffeine-free cola market. Coke quickly followed suit with their own version, which they called Coke Caffeine Free. And it didn't take long for them to outsell Pepsi-free, because caffeine-free people understood. So when we told the board what we were planning on doing with Axio and Axio Decaf, they were really excited because they already knew, based on their experience with Coke versus Pepsi, that Axio Decaf was a much stronger and easier to understand message than Endure and Bold. So those were the problems we wanted to solve. Let's strip out any ambiguity about what each product is by using a nomenclature that's already understood in the market, as well as then creating some visual differences between the two so they're easy to grab. So seeing both Axio and Protandim next to each other is already showing the breadth of the tools that we have to tackle an energy market as well as a high-end supplement market, but have two products that clearly look like they come from the same company, Lifevantage.